Is this thing on? What up, what up, what up, what up? What's good? Climb on in. Come here. Come here.
Why so hard to keep it real? So hard to keep it chill. If you say how you feel.
That's real mellow, isn't it? Come here. Get in here. Nice mellow Thursday. Oh yeah, breaking news. This is my homegirl Leona. All original, all original. So if you breaking news tonight on Good News Travel Fast. Keanu Reeves refuses to present Whoopi Goldberg's Lifetime Achievement Award, saying, quote, "She's not a good person." Whoopi, in response, is quoted as having said, "Oh yeah? Well, I'm taller." You get, well, I'm taller. Speed, the movie. You guys don't watch it? But come on, you guys, let's go.
And now it's time to play everybody's favorite game. Good news. Good news. We are talking about combination. Jesus Christ, we can't run.
Yay! You made it! You made it! We made it. This is it's all about, this is the we thing. This is us together doing this. Hello and welcome in once again. Good News Travel Fast. Fastest growing sports reaction, life reaction, internet reaction channel on the entire interweb. I am Oren Lamena. Thanks to my buddy D-Mac and the Kill You With Truth network for having me, and all you Kill You With Truthers for being here. Need some background. So we know all the things that are going on. When I catch up with y'all, by now you've gone through all the day's news. So my job is to put my spin on it. The biggest news, obviously, happening in your world, and therefore my world, is the Colorado Buffaloes flipping the script and acquiring Juju Lewis. What does that mean? Well, it means they got their quarterback to step in and fill the vacancy that'll be left when Shedeur Sanders takes his talents to the NFL. But there's something else going on here, something bigger that, I've been alluding to since I started over here on the KUWT airwaves. Something that I think we all should be very aware of. And a shift, a couple of different ones, but on the college level, there's a shift. I think on a sports interest level, there's a shift. This thing with Coach Prime, I think just marks a tectonic plate shift in sports interest. And we'll talk about that and more in the next, 45 minutes or so. Before I let you guys go and kick it back to D-Mac, who, after I'm done here, will be doing Altitude After Dark with Coach Mike Sanford. So let's get into it. So we know the signing, Julian Juju Lewis. Definitely, what is he, a third-rated, I believe? Third-rated quarterback, third-ranked quarterback coming out of high school. He's really a junior, foregoing what it would seem to be his senior year, graduating early, I guess you'd say, in order to take his talents to the college level. All types of movement and shifts. He was committed to USC, decommits from USC, and then all the buzz started that, well, he's going to Colorado. And then he lands in Colorado, which is just huge, like I already detailed and like you've heard all day. This means that we don't have to wonder who will step in and keep the thing going next year after Shedeur leaves. Colorado's got its quarterback of the future for the foreseeable future, and many of its commits now can be focused on other areas, unless, of course, it goes not too well with Juju Lewis. I have a feeling, though, after watching tape on the kid, he'll be all right. He's gonna do well in this offense, and he'll probably do things, because if you watch tape on him, he'll probably do things that we're not used to even seeing Shedeur do, which is step back, give it 3 steps, and then rip it. A lot less holding of the ball, which would be good for him, good for the offensive line. I think good for the offense as a whole. So good on the bus for grabbing that kid. Now, let's talk about the intricacies of how you get him and how you keep him, and what that means to a CU program that a lot of us are hopeful will be in it for the long haul in terms of winning and holding on to their, game-changing CEO and head coach, Coach Prime. I saw this and I thought that this was interesting when it was talking about what's the NIL situation going to look like? Because we know we got him. How you going to pay him to keep him?
So the NIL,
What's going on?
So the NIL stuff, I don't think Colorado is at the level of there's some schools that are head and shoulders above.
Not at USC's level, even. You know.
Well, and I think yeah, exactly.
Yeah, what did that mean though? Right? If the money, if all things are considered and the money's not even the same, the money wasn't able to keep him. So that tells you a lot about Juju Lewis, the type of guy that you're getting. Julian Lewis seems to be a guy who values something more than money. And there'll be money there for him, though.
I don't think USC is anywhere near
SEC schools and
Ohio State
and
Oregon.
Well, yeah,
you can go Texas A&M. Hell, from what I hear, the money's flowing in Bloomington, Indiana. Now, that's not to say that there's no NIL money to be had in Boulder. That's just to say there are Power 5 schools that have been in the business of paying recruits for a long time and have boosters that have deep oil money, deep type pockets. SEC money, deep type pockets, and have been able to secure these type of recruits for the longest time. Well, then what is he coming to Colorado for?
Yeah, exactly.
And in the great state of Texas down there.
Right.
You're talking about there is some NIL stuff at some of these schools that are head and shoulders above everybody else. So it's not just the amount of money. It's not like, I don't think he took the biggest check he was offered. If I am reading.
Which, again, tells you a lot. I don't think he did either. They've been offering this kid deals. He got his first, not deals, but he got his first offer when he was an 8th grader, which sounds creepy, to be honest with you. He had as many as 35 college offers from Georgia to Ohio State, USC, obviously, which he took. Yeah, his first offer came from the University of Florida when he was an 8th grader. Talk about being ahead of the curve, right? Jesus Christ. Football is a factory, man.
The tea leaves properly in college football. But what he's choosing is development.
Absolutely.
And connections and
profile, program building. It's not just connections.
Blueprint on how to become an NFL pro or how to become a legacy or a legend and Hall of Famer and everything like that. Like Coach Saban talks about this. Alabama did not have, at the end here when NIL was real, but the sell was, hey, you're going to come here and this is the
you roll down Tide. You're going to come here and they roll damn tight. They had booster money. Please believe, University of Alabama, there's some boosters down there that were filling some envelopes with some cash that were, and then that just spilled over into the NIL era.
Blueprint. This is kind of a thing. I think Dion's doing the same exact thing over there in Colorado, and that's a big part of the pitch. And a lot of the schools that don't have the deep pockets that everybody else is, that is going to have to be the way they sell it, because somebody can show up with hey, here's $3 million to come play. And then another school is like, we got $1.5 million. You're still a millionaire.
Pretty sweet.
That's still a lot of money.
At 18, 17 years old, it's not bad.
But you're going to have to make up that difference somewhere, right? You're going to have to make up that difference somewhere.
I'm going to tell you where the difference is going to get made up. Thanks to Pat McAfee for doing a great job in setting me up. That's enough. I'm telling y'all, watch this space. There will be conversations being had, if not deals being finalized, about the University of Colorado leaving the Big 12, going independent, grabbing a TV deal with Prime Network, and off you go into the wild blue NIL yonder. Pay like you weigh yonder. Which, I don't want to get ahead of myself, sets me up for the premise of my argument that college football already, arguably, there was already this from Adam Schefter, that Bryce Underwood, who was the #1 overall quarterback recruit in the class of overall recruit in the class of 2025, is committing to Michigan. Wonder what the check was to get him there. What do you think they paid him? What do you think they scraped together to pay that kid to go to Michigan? You know they got money there. Now it's an arms race to get a hold of these youngins. Now it's an arms race. Who's got the deep pockets? Now, I don't know a lot about I'm not following 8th grade football players, I'm just to be honest with you. But and he decommitted to recommit. College football now has this, and National Signing Day has always been a thing. National Signing Day has always been a thing. And there's no reason to believe that it was going to become any less of but it was always a thing for guys who follow 8th graders, guys who are watching 8th grade football, which is super weird. But is it though? And when you're talking about what Julian Lewis forewent at USC in order to catch a hold of at CU, I don't think you need to look any further than what's going on with CU's accoutrement to the football program, which is all of the eyes that are on this program all of the time because of media and their understanding on how to capitalize on that, what that can mean to a young person when it comes to NIL. Because now you don't have to just have boosters when you've got sponsors that just want to be associated with the hottest thing in sports. We're not just talking college sports, in sports. And then when you add this drama, the it's the pre-meat market. It's the meat market before the biggest meat market, which is the NFL Combine. And then, but there's 130 some odd schools that can be a part of the college football conversation, and that in and of itself just allows more people to be involved as fandom goes. Now you're talking about something completely different. Watch the blueprint that is being set. Now, I saw that Adam Schefter had also reported that Ray Lewis was up for the FAU job. And then it turns out Ray Lewis ain't up for the FAU job. I looked into Florida Atlantic University. But really, what initially came to mind, even though Ray Lewis may have murdered someone, he might have. The only problem is that there's just a shade of possibility that he may have committed murder, but he's got that same prime, preachy, motivational swag and credibility, quite honestly, when it comes to young people. And, you still see guys doing the Ray Lewis coming out of the tunnel. college football is soon to be a spectacle like I don't think we've seen in a long time in sports. And all of these things are extremely compelling. And it bodes well for the University of Colorado and for its fan base that you probably have the best pitch man in sports, the most magnetic attention grabber in sports as the head coach of the Buffs.
And I think Coach Prime, that coaching staff, everything they've been able to do and prove that they can do at any level. He was doing high school.
Yeah.
He was doing HBCU. Now he's doing it in a Power 4 program, in a Power 4 conference. And then obviously with what Shador and Travis, those might be top 5 picks.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Those might be 2 top 5 picks from the same program. 2 Heisman finalists from the same program. It's like in a very quick time, Coach Prime has proved himself, legitimacy, obviously. And I assume his dad, TC, massive fan of Coach Prime.
For sure.
Yeah, so he has that. It's like good stuff happening.
Now, done with that guy. So what does that mean for Coach Prime and his prospects? 'Cause I heard it being thrown around today, like, well, sure, you got Julian Lewis. What does it mean? What does this mean when it comes to Coach Prime and his tenure at CU? Is he in for the long haul, or is this just, business as usual in college? It's no secret that a coach will pull in a great recruiting class and then skate on them for a better opportunity. The question is there a better opportunity out there for a guy like Coach Prime? I advance that there's not. I advance that he is in the best situation that he could be in for the foreseeable future because of all the fringe benefits that come with the freedom of being able to be the head guy, do what you want media-wise, pull down as many endorsements as possible, not have a lot of friction between you and the front office because the front office appreciates the CEO and pitchman that you are. And I'm talking about the front office. I'm talking about Rick George, the athletic. It's just a match made in heaven. And you're not in some podunk town. There is a element of city living agreeability to, high profile agreeability to a guy like Prime, who's got, his star's not on the rise. He's sitting atop.
This is
another piece that I found because one domino falls and then what falls behind it.
Probably there's 2 weeks till signing day, and this getting the crown jewel of your class in place, it could have an impact on the stretch run for the Buffs. Steve, who are some of the top targets that you're tracking now that Colorado has
Watch this list.
Lewis in place?
Well, Colorado has a small class, but pound for pound, it's mighty. A lot of guys that can come in and be instant impact players. The next guy on the list for me is 4-star offensive lineman Carde Smith, an on 300 recruit, also formerly committed to USC, reopened his recruitment last night. My on 3 RPM is on Colorado. Feel really good about that pick. The Buffaloes would love to bookend him with
Big kid. It's always amazes me how large these high schoolers are. And so you're talking about somebody who I'm like 3 times older than, who could, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on, little man? Hey, little bruh. I'm still little bruh. Hands off, man.
with true freshman left tackle Jordan Seaton. Some other guys at Colorado.
God, could you imagine those two? Wow.
Swinging on. You have electric receiver Quentin Gibson.
I have designs, and we'll look a little bit ahead toward Kansas. I'm not going to get into it too tough. I've watched enough Kansas football to realize if CU does it, if they handle their business, that sounds cliche, but quite honestly, if you just don't allow Jalen Daniels to get loose, he's mistake prone. That's Kansas's quarterback. He's mistake prone from what I've seen. If you just don't allow him to get loose on the edge when they run the option, this should be a game that they're able to do similar this week, what they did against Utah, which is run it up. And that's what we want to start seeing. Not so much to embarrass the opposition, but more so to show that this offense is clicking. This offense is clicking when you want it to click, heading into the playoffs, heading into the Big 12 championship game, heading into the playoffs. Because if this is an offense that can average 4 touchdowns a game, and then whatever you add on top of that they're going to be hard to beat.
Out of the Lone Star State, Colorado is near the top of his list with programs like SMU and Mississippi State. IMG Academy is a program that's been really good to Colorado. That's where Jordan Seaton played his high school football. They're in on 4 big-time targets down the
This was
stretch.
the list.
Nathaniel Owusu Boateng's a 4.
You know, there's a picture of Boateng. This shit is crazy. Let me see. Boateng. It'll come up. These you know, like it looks good. It looks good. Like Colorado's ability to pull down. And what did Prime say? He said, I'm looking at 10 guys max that we want to recruit. We're going to pull everybody else out of the portal. But those 10 guys that we recruit, we want guys that can come in and contribute as freshmen. Man, an embarrassment of riches. An embarrassment of riches.
4-star linebacker that also likes Michigan, Notre Dame, and USC. I like the way it's starting to shape up for Colorado at this point in this process. He's coming off a midweek visit to Boulder after taking in a game earlier in the fall. So he's seen a game. Now he's seen the day in the life of a Colorado football player.
I don't have a Keystone Light, but I'll drop a bomb.
Come in and impact the second level of that Colorado defense in year one, I think is very exciting and attractive to him. London Merritt is an edge rusher committed to Ohio State. He has also taken 2 visits to Colorado this fall. That seems to be trending in a positive direction.
Like if you start stealing recruits, guys commit and then decommit and then go somewhere else because let's just cut to the chase. Profile rules everything. Attention is what you want to secure an athlete's allegiance. Just tell them how much attention you're going to be able to grab them. How much attention will be paid to them. Now, everybody likes an ego stroke. We're living in the age of social media. Everybody wants to get as many likes as possible. But as you see this program, so the way IMG Academy is in high school, this is what Prime's going to build in Boulder. It's not even a question any longer. For those who are like, I don't know, it could be a better situation that, Coach Prime ends up in. Maybe he wants to take his kid to the NFL and see if it. Nobody cares about that shit anymore. I submit to you that if things keep going the way they're going, because of the amount of people that can buy into, we're already seeing CU turn into America's college football team. But because of the amount of buy-in that's available on a local level, college football could challenge, I won't say overtake yet, but it could challenge the NFL for America's football interest. It's just more fun. How many NFL fan bases begin the year thinking, oh, we've got a shot at it? Like, legit. Bronco fan always feels like it. You guys are delusional. I'm sorry. But I'm saying, legit. How many NFL franchises? Detroit's killing it right now. And you know what? For that fan base, I hope the most. I hope that they are as potent in the postseason as they have been in this regular season. And I hope it keeps going. Detroit deserves, if there's any, have you ever been to Detroit? There's a town that deserves a little sunshine. No. You think Cleveland fan literally wakes up? I mean, in their that's why they drink so much. And yeah, they'll say it. We're gonna win it all. You're not, and we all know you're not. Jacksonville, the Tennessee Titans. It's just a participation award. On the college level, you'd say, oh well, it's the same thing. How do you know? You're all as good a class as you can recruit, and a guy can only hold on to a class of recruits for 4 years. So there's a constant turnover. So now the question is, how much money can you pay to get the best players to come to your program? And everybody else still gets to participate because there is a program in your town. And if you break apart this antiquated, Big 12, Big 10, SEC, ACC, Pac-10. Break that shit up. And now it's kind of like barnstorming. Of course, you still have to have tiers and you still have to have divisions, but it's barnstorming. Now you can see the best program come to your town and play. Those out-of-conference games that CU or Ohio State or Alabama schedules is in your neck of the woods. I'm telling you, college football has a chance to grab the nation's attention as the premier football interest. Just watch and learn.
For the Buffaloes, they're also recruiting Alexander McPherson, who's led IMG in sacks the last 2 seasons. He's committed to Oklahoma State, but he has taken visits to
Are you going to go to Oklahoma State? Really, though, Alexander? Come on. Don't you see what we're building over here? You want to go to Oklahoma? You really want to be in Oklahoma? Really? I mean, really?
NC State and Colorado over the last 2 weekends. Had a fantastic time at Colorado. And then another big fish. Can Deion Sanders have 2 massive recruiting wins at the end of the cycle? 5-star offensive lineman Michael Carroll. He's a longtime commit to Alabama. That's going to be the toughest flip of them all. He's expected back in Tuscaloosa for the Iron Bowl in a couple weeks, but he visited Colorado over the weekend and had a nice time.
And Rodam Tad. So why do I think that all these recruiting wars are far and away winners for Prime and CU Boulder? I'm talking about for the best of the best, because they've made it so easy on themselves. Do you consider yourself to be one of the best of the best? Because what I'm building over here is for the best of the best. What I'm building over here is for the best of the best. Guys that are going to hit the ground ready to play. And you know you got your quarterback who should, if he pans out to be what he is, even just on a college level, should be your quarterback for the next 3 to 4 seasons. Okay, well, you're not looking for a quarterback next year in the next recruiting class. So now what other positions can you focus on? That receiver group is deep. Deep. By the way, number 6, Miller. Drayton, put him in the backfield. Just take my advice. Fritz, if you're listening, Coach Shermer, put 6 in the backfield. That's your electric. That's your when you hear Prime talk about him, he calls Draylon. He calls Draylon their version of Deebo Samuels. And he is. He's stocky. He's a receiver, but a stocky kid, but he's got burst and he's got shift and he's shifty. Put him in the backfield. Let him run the pill. I'm sorry. I love all the young men, all things considered, they're all great. They're all young men. I hope the best for them. But the 2 backs that they have right now, that ain't cutting it. You need somebody who you can count on. And I just was watching well-off media coverage earlier today, and he wants an emphasis on running the ball this weekend. Give Draylon some carries. Just a bit of advice from me to you.
He's one of the
This is why I feel, though, that 10 is going to be an easy 10 to grab, because the question is simple. Do you consider yourself, young man, to be one of the 10 best recruits in the nation that deserves the spotlight that I'm providing?
the people that keeps us popping and keeps our brand out there now. Guys, only reason I'm showing you this because I love y'all like this and I trust y'all like this. Check this out. Fire. Fire.
For everybody. Coach Prime's for everybody.
Probably playing in these this weekend. Fire. I don't know if you can handle this, but because I love y'all.
Oh, I had a pair of those.
Fire. Now, I'm going to show you one more thing. But you got to promise me that you won't tell nobody.
I wish Darius would take
No, you
his
got
hand off the
you gotta
microphone.
go because I know you're gonna tell everybody you can't hold water. I know you. I know I'm looking at you and you laugh right now because you know I'm telling you can't hold water. Okay. I'm gonna show you. I need y'all help. I need y'all to blow Nike up. I mean blow them up and tell them these must come out. I need your help. Where should they go? At Nike?
Nike US Football, Nike, blow them all up.
The white on white.
The all-white Jones?
With a little gold because I'm bold. These are the white on white with a little gold because I'm bold. And they cold. But they ain't gonna last a day because they're all gonna be sold.
Who's coach? Who else's coach can do that? Now I know that it comes much to the chagrin of many of the more traditional football watchers are like, I don't like all that showboating. Why is he always showing off his chains and his shoes, his cars, his lifestyle? Just coach some damn football. To you, sir, I say this. Shut the fuck up. Shit didn't change. enjoy it. Just enjoy the ride. I often find it hard to relate to this want to make sports a more hallowed ground than really is necessary. The exploit itself ranges all the way back to the Coliseum. It's bombastic. It's meant to entertain. So for those that are just like, it's just a little too flashy for me. I like my head coach to, blow with not to have a diamond-studded whistle. It's just a little too much for me. For you, sir, I beg you, just a second of your attention. Shut the fuck up. Nobody cares about all of that 6 yards in a cloud of dust. And when nobody cares about all that. Entertain. That's what this has always been about. And there is an edge that we know that you're bothered. It bothers you. Flashy, boisterous, loud, black. It makes you uncomfortable. And that's okay. That's okay. You're going to be all right. Because that's what's been buttering your bread this entire time anyway. Now you just have to, or you don't have to, just wait to watch the touchdowns. His connection with his core audience, which may or may not be you. His core audience is young people. And they love it. And for the athletes, they relate to it. Because all athletes feel like Prime feels. The best do feel like, I'm the shit. You ain't got shit on me. It's in me, not on me. Now get with it or beat it. And that has led him to be in the conversation as one of the greatest athletes to ever have done it. It is why I believe his shtick would work with younger athletes more than it would in an NFL locker room, because guys already have the money. They're matching. Now it's really about a different type of leadership skill. I think now what you're going to see on the NFL level, though, is the shift to where like guys like D'Amico Ryans, you're seeing more younger player coach type head coaches. That's about to be a thing. The old guard is changing over and things are forever new. And just embrace it. CU fans embrace it because we understand that nothing could be finer than to be, Carolina doesn't work. But then to be in Boulder, Colorado right now as a CU Buffs fan. Because if you're reading the tea leaves, what you're seeing is the building of a dynasty. Nothing short of it. An IMG academy, next level before the final boss. I'll say about 4 national championships. If he stays anywhere between a decade to 12, 15 years, he's going to win at the minimum 4 national championships. Watch it happen. Because it's about the talent that you have on the field. And what kind of environment can you create where these young people constantly want to come and where you're creating opportunity for them to take their skill set to the next level. And be it in business when they leave there or in the NFL when they make it to the NFL, they come out enriched and better for the next level of their lives. I'm telling you, watch it happen. You don't have to believe me. Just watch it happen. All right. So let's put pro sports to bed and college football to bed. And let's go to the NBA because I found this to be interesting. And I know why Adam Silver's doing it. So first we got to lay the groundwork. According to recent search results, NBA ratings have been declining with several games in the early days of the 24-25 season experiencing substantial drops compared to past seasons. Key points highlighting the reason in the decline and why we don't. And I'm telling you, we'll get to it. The NBA's injury woes have been a persistent issue. Just think Philadelphia 76ers and load management, which is crazy. Players not playing back to back, often injured or you kind of wonder, are these guys just kind of soft and not playing through injury? It's easy for me to demand of someone to play through whatever injury they're experiencing, because I'm not doing it. It's easy for me to say, what the fuck, Kawhi? Like, really? But it's his body. He knows his body, right? Joel, what's going on? Embiid, you can't get on the court, really? So, injury problems, load management, decreasing star power, which I take umbrage with, but I get it, because with the LeBron era ending, who steps into that space? Well, you would say Steph, but he's not there, but he's a lot closer to the end of his career, maybe, than we would say the pinnacle, the midway point. Same with Kevin Durant. These guys are longer in the tooth. And who's the generation of player coming up behind him? It is true. Who is the guy that you're like? LaMelo Ball? They all kind of have the same hairstyle. They all have that Juju Lewis kind of hairstyle. Scottie Pippen Jr. Like, who are the next crop? You got John Morant, but he's pew, 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 pew. Fancies himself a gangster. So who are the next guys to carry the league forward? And I think there's a wealth of talent. But the more the better players are more international. Joker, Giannis. And for whatever reason, they're just not they don't have that same sellable NBA feel. Political hurdles. The NBA's received left-leaning political views have alienated some fans, leading to a decline in viewership. While I agree with many of the causes they took up for, this is what's Michael Jordan's famous line? Republicans buy sneakers too. When you stand out there and I don't like that. I love LeBron James. And then he comes out on like Black Lives Matter. I don't like that at all. Now, I don't have a lot of respect for Black Lives Matter as an organization for a whole nother set of reasons, embezzlement. But let's not stay there. Overemphasis on three-point shooting. And this is what I found to be interesting, because they talked about this on Gil's Arena
before this season, but is facing a serious issue as NBA viewership is on the decline. So on a recent episode of his big podcast, Shaq offered these thoughts on why NBA viewership might be down.
I think everybody's looking at the same thing. And Steph Curry and those guys messed it up. Like, I don't mind Golden State back in the day shooting threes, but every team's not a three-point shooter. So why everybody has the same strategy? I think viewership will continue to go down unless we switch things back up.
So, Gil, you made a similar assessment in the past.
Yeah, and that's been offered up since Steph started doing the ridiculous 2 steps past half court, jacking up threes, and then you heard kind of the older guys, I don't like that. In my day, we put the ball on the floor. You took 2 dribbles and you moved the ball around the perimeter and you throw it into the low block. And then you throw it from the low block back out to the perimeter. Perimeter to low block to perimeter. Einhorn, Finkel, Einhorn. We fear change.
On this very program, Gil's Arena, presented by Underdog.
And then everybody started doing it. You see all these kids pulling up from deep. And I do agree that it's kind of ridiculous. The amount of three-pointers that are taken in an NBA game just eliminates so much basketball. It just, so much, because I am a fan of movement and screens. Don't get it twisted. Like, the beauty of basketball when it's played the right way. It's a beautiful sport to watch.
Woof woof.
I made a statement that says every team shouldn't be shooting that many threes because every team don't have Steph Curry, Clay, and KD on their team.
Yeah.
You don't have nothing close to number 1, 2, and 4, 5. You don't have that to be taking the same many shots as them.
So to Shaq's point, so far this season, the league averages 37.2 3-point attempts per game.
That's crazy. That's a gang of threes by a bunch of guys who, quite honestly, to their point, don't need to be shooting that many threes, especially when you consider how much more there's so much court beyond the half court line. There's so much space to have so much basketball happening in the lane, elbow jumpers, mid-range, 15 feet out, 17 feet out. Why all the threes? What'd you say, Andon? You don't believe it? I don't believe you. We're on right now? I don't believe you. Well, that's what the numbers say, Andon. Jokic doesn't have that national appeal. No, he doesn't. They don't have the charisma off the court. And you get that a lot from they should just add a 4-point line. You get that a lot, and I think that that might not be very far off because Adam Silver's trying all kind of wacky shit. That's what the NBA Emirates Cup is for. You know, they're trying all these different ways to try and spice up interest. When the truth of the matter is that if the players don't intrigue and everybody's kind of got this real cool for school kind of, rock star vibe to them, there's not as many rivalries. I don't think you don't see guys willing to, Draymond Green is the last of a dying breed as far as dirty ball players. You don't see a lot of guys just sticking it in other guys' ribs, sticking it. Guys don't stand out. Everybody is a terrible actor when it comes to their commercial presence. Like, who's who in this new crop of guys? Who's the guy that you'd say has the biggest personality? You can't think of one. They're all real bland milquetoast because all these cats are just real. That's the one thing I'll say is they're just real. You know what I'm saying? There's just not a lot there. So there's not a lot of sellability off the court. So then you got to look to the play on the court. And you got a bunch of threes being jacked up. And it's not a very appealing brand of basketball to watch, I guess. Let's hear Gilbert a little more, and then we'll get to this rule change that Adam
which would be a record. Celtics are currently leading the league with close to 51 of their 90 shot attempts per game come from beyond the arc. There are 7 teams averaging more than 43-point attempts per game.
God damn.
And every team in the league is taking at least 31 threes per game.
That's Lakers, we last?
We are not last. I believe the Pelicans were last, but nonetheless.
But that's not the reason the viewership is down.
So there are a lot of factors contributing to the NBA's viewership issues. Among them, star players missing a lot of games because
hard
of
to
injury.
watch games. It's expensive to watch these games.
There you.
It's expensive to go to the games, but it's not expensive to watch them. Watching in market is hard for people as well. The NBA, like all things in America, has made itself inaccessible to the lower incomed earner. So there's that. Like if you live in, I know that there was a point in time when it was hard to find Nuggets games in town. Am I tripping about that? I watch them because I have the NBA League Pass. Like as with all things, you take a shot at maximizing profit, and you eliminate your true core fan base, which is people who they cannot increase your bottom line like that. Everything's on a paid service. You can't see it on the local channels. You know what I mean? Got to have a cable package in order to see the home team play, shit like that. At a 4-point line, I think it would. I mean, at this point in time, okay. So, and I said, until you got Fubo, you couldn't watch the Nuggets at all. That's crazy. That's wild. Like you've gotten so big, you guys don't understand that you need the home fan base. Like, what the fuck kind of dumb shit is that? And what was the TV deal? Hold on, let me go back here.
NBA secured an 11-year, $77 billion TV rights deal.
That's dumb money. For you not to be able to trickle it down to your fan base and make sure that at least the hometown fan bases can all watch the games. That's fucking stupid. And if, with all due respect, if the Cronkies and Altitude Sports Networks weren't able to work it out between Comcast and themselves, I know that was a part of the thing. That's on the NBA then to step in and be like, yeah, well, whatever has to happen, Stan, here, we're going to pull out of this $77 billion and make sure that Denver Nuggets fans can watch the team at home, because that is not going to help us grow viewership. I mean, just do it out of pure self-interest. One of the most mismanaged situations is the job that Adam Silver has done with the NBA. But I guess he's got other ideas. So according to this, the NBA has unveiled an innovative format for the 2025 All-Star Game, transforming it into a 4-team tournament. Are you excited? The new structure includes 3 teams of All-Stars and the winner of the Rising Stars game, competing in a series of quick, high-energy matches. Let's call them games. Let's go to the basketball match. What? Who calls a basketball game a match? Let's go to the. Did you see the basketball match last evening? Stuart, were you watching the basketball match last evening? No, I missed the basketball match. What? The semifinals will be played to 40 points. It's like pickup basketball, with the winners advancing to the final game. This change seeks to enhance the competitiveness and excitement of the All-Star event by adopting a pickup-style game format. While the exact scoring for the final game remains somewhat ambiguous, the overarching goal is clear: to make the All-Star game more engaging for both players and fans. Opinions are mixed, with some lauding a fresh approach, while others remain skeptical about its impact on player effort and game quality. I mean, a pickup game it's already a pickup game. Now you're just going to have 4 of them. Like what? They already play it like a pickup game. A pickup game where they don't want to get hurt and they don't feel like expending any energy. The worst thing that happened to the NBA was guaranteed contracts. That was the worst thing to happen to the NBA. Unfortunately. And I, quite honestly, I'm one of those, get it how you live. Get paid while you can, spend it if you got it. But the guaranteed contract is a motivation killer. It murders motivation. Because once I got the money, what do I really got to work for? People are like, well, you want to be a champion, don't you? Maybe. Or maybe I don't. Maybe I like to spend my money on hookers. And I'll wait till my career is over, or at least the offseason, to do the blow. The guaranteed contract murdered the NBA once it got to a level of, I believe, what was KG's first contract? I remember the first time KG got that like $250,000. I was like, to play basketball. I'm not pocket watching. I'm not trying to take dollars out of nobody. I'm trying to get my own. I'm trying to get a hand on $250 million my goddamn self. How do you inject life into a game where you have to manufacture stardom? I'm serious, like when I say that I believe much of LeBron James' lore is manufactured. Not that he's not great at what he does, but you can call him the dude, the next Jordan, and it's just never played out like that. You know what I'm saying? It's been so forced to get him into that. He had to go 20 years. And listen, you play long enough, I'm quite sure that you're going to, and you're the centerpiece of a squad, you're going to eclipse scoring title type numbers. And he did. Good for him. It just seemed like the whole thing was very manufactured. Like Kobe, it was what it was. You didn't have to manufacture that. MJ, you didn't have to manufacture that. And the NBA, once again, while I think that there's a lot of great basketball being played, I think that there's more skill in today's NBA, I believe now, than there's ever been. But for some odd reason, it doesn't translate. I'm not compelled to watch NBA basketball every night. And it's on every night, damn near. I don't feel compelled to watch it. There's something missing. And I don't quite know what it is. That's why you got to have shows like Inside the NBA. You know what I mean? It's like everything around the game of basketball seems to be more of a draw than the basketball itself. And how do you fix that? More rule changes? Do you see how empty the seats were when OKC when the Nuggets last played there? I don't recall seeing that, but I believe you. How do you fix that? How do you inject life into something that has seemingly tried everything in its power to remain relevant, but on the court, it just doesn't seem to compel? Are we just done with it? Are we just over it? Is it because they're international stars? Lots of questions remain. And by God, we'll be here Monday through Thursday in search of answers. I think with that being said, round of applause for all those involved. 50 minutes went by like that. Coming up next on Kill You With Truth, Altitude After Dark. D-Mac, Coach Mike, you're going to get some. You going to get some, I promise. Until next time, friends, go Sco Buffs. Don't get nothing on you. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. And I'll see you on the rebound.
And now it's time to play everybody's favorite game.
Good news. We are talking about combination. Jesus Christ. We can't run.
Thank you.